Hello, 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 hello. There's something I'm going to try. Ah, it's fine, never mind. Hello again. I am back from my very generous one evening break. I wish I could say I was replenished, but I am not. I was working today and had the pleasure of being able to have a Tokyo Spliff stream in the background. He was streaming today. It's probably still streaming right now. But always interesting to watch some of this stuff. But it's my turn. Go do some streaming. I don't want to get started on something too big today. Make it a bit chill. But I do want to make something that is usable. So we've done a lot of little hacking-y things recently. But I actually want to basically go back to the drawing tablets or forwarding of events over a TCP socket. But I want to make it so that I can legitimately use the tablet. So whenever in the future I just want to draw something, then I hopefully can just like take it out and start drawing without having to plug it in SSH, run the server on one, run the app on the other one, and then get going. So what this is gonna entail pretty much is gonna be one. I want to see I want to make sure that like if the app stops, that the server is able to handle a second connection coming in. That like there was one connection going. I'm not gonna handle multiple connections at once. There's gonna be one active at a time. So my I think the way I set it up, I can technically accept another connection, but I will probably make something that just immediately close the connection if you try to connect to it while one is already active. And then I also want to do the other side. So if the application starts and it can't connect to the server, then some kind of retry. Some kind of something like that. And then maybe parameterize the IP address and port, the little CLI thing going on for both of them. And then finally making a systemd entry so that they can be services. There's one thing that I'm not too sure with the tablet is that even when I systemd disable the app that runs on it, after rebooting it, it restarts again. And I wonder if like the system may be on a kind of a read-only partition or something like that, or like only a temporary one, and when it reboots it just resets to like a state, and then all of the user data is in different partitions that can be like persisted. If that's the case, then adding a systemd entry is not going to work across reboots, which is going to suck. If that doesn't work, I may make a udev rule on the laptop so that every time the tablet is plugged in, it automatically starts the service, can send the command over SSH. So I won't be able to do the thing where I can just whip it out and like just start drawing. But we'll see about that. Maybe in the future I'll do something as well as like maybe I'll have like an idle timer, and if there's no events for a while, it would then close the connection to like save battery, and then as soon as there's an event that comes in, then it just restarts the connection. So I might be missing a few events when it's not connected, but I want this like automatic kind of restart of things. So yeah, when it goes to sleep between quotes, it should be fairly efficient because with epoll, it's basically not going to use any processing until the kernel says that an event happened. I also want to see how that works when he goes to sleep. Anyways, lots of things. I'm just going to get started. First, does it work? Does it still work? I don't know if it has cron tab running. But to be honest, I'm more interested in having my thing running non-stop. my program. I do need to have some programs running on stuff. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a mess on this screen. I was talking to some people yesterday. They actually never tried the reMarkable before, and they were very surprised how like slim it is, and how responsive it is when you write. That's why they were testing it there. There's a bunch of stuff written, but obviously the scrolling is pretty terrible. We were talking about the tablet. What's the... Is it called Daydream tablets? No, it's not that. LCD paper-like tablet. It's something that has to do with the day, like during the day. And it was $729. Daylight, that's the one. It's funny that just putting the, and that's interesting. But like it's a different technology basically where I think it's an LCD stuff, but it has the same feeling, and it looks like it's running full Android, but it has the same feeling as the e-ink in terms of like the way it looks, but it has 60 FPS refresh, but also 729, and it does like have like a big chin, and around the corners is not really. I mean, yeah, there's a few things. Anyways, that's what we're talking about. So I've got this thing here that I can play with. First, let's see if it still works. Clear and make app, and you know what? Let's just start with something else. First, I want upload to depend on app. That way I don't have to do make the app and upload it and whatever. Clear and make upload. Now this should fail because I haven't plugged it in. The other thing is that the IP that it connects to is the IP. When I was showing it yesterday, I realized that the IP in there was the IP of my local network of the Wi-Fi. And obviously if the tablet is not connected to the Wi-Fi, that causes an issue. But I found the IP of my device when the tablet is connected through USB. So the tablet has this thing was like if you connect it through USB, it behaves as a USB Ethernet interface, and it has a very specific IP which is 10.11.99.1, and the device it's connected to has 10.11.99.2. So I may try to basically have something that in the retry logic, I might try both. Maybe the default is like try to connect to the .2 with like a very short timeout, because if it's there, it should immediately connect. And if that doesn't work, maybe I have some other IP. I don't know if there's a way to make a discovery thing. The only way I can think of is you would need to have a server with like a domain name or like a fixed IP that has some kind of synchronization logic, where maybe you can display a pin and then it connects to it, but that sounds like a bit too complicated. I may just hard code or put in config file a list of IPs that in different places that actually connect. Or you know what? Let's just not worry about it. Let's just right now it has to be plugged in through USB. We'll just do it that way. That's the simplest. Make upload done. So I can run the app, and if I run it right now, I should be getting a problem. Yeah, of course. Keep forgetting this one. Codecs. Environment setup. I probably need to do this. Yeah, I deleted I didn't realize, I forgot that I had a intermediate step. I'm actually just gonna um, do this. I really don't need that. App, depends on the make file. App.c. Yeah, let's just simplify it. rmapp.o, rmapp, make upload, done. Okay, run it. What's going on? reMarkable, it was uploaded. Yeah, arm, not stripped. Exec format error. But I'm using the reMarkable Linux GNU API GCC. Ah, of course. If I remove the intermediates, because I actually created a .o file that was not called .o. While we're here, we might as well do a clean, which is going to be app and server. These are not folders, so I could do this. I don't know why I do this. I had something very clear to do, and I ended up just making it just not work. Okay. A real LD cannot find LC. Let me see what I read. LC. I've got nothing else here. I've got compile commands, which to be honest doesn't even work, so I could remove it. Right, I've got literally 2 C files and a make file. I wonder if I guess F, yeah. I didn't look too much into it because I'm gonna add a build folder. I think having it as the root, like I'm gonna tidy up this little thing a little bit. You know, I'm just gonna do it now. I make a bin folder actually. Yeah, I'm just gonna, because obviously now that I want to make it a real thing, at least something that I can use, I might as well just take it out of prototype, and doing a bit of makefile stuff is not a bad idea to just get me started anyways. All right. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. I saw that somewhere. I saw someone that did that. Is go crazy with it, like this is the command to do this. I don't know how useful that is. It would be like great if instead of having to activate the cross compilation toolchain, I could just like enable it just for one. Instead of exporting everything, I could just enable it for one thing. To be honest, like, isn't the only thing I need this? Is this? Well, I guess there's a bunch of what I need, right? Package config, sysroot-dir. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so this src dir equals src bin dir equals bin. All right, let's start with that. Making the app means src dir app, and you generate bin dir app, which this should be fine. It's going to be the same thing with the server. Start with that, which means this can become $@ and this can become $@ in, which is the first parameter. Okay, and let's not forget to do mkdirp dollar brackets and at d. That's the one. Same thing here, right? Clean becomes rumruff bin the, right? So that gets a little bit cleaner. And the only thing that I'm missing here is this needs to be the right dependency, which is going to be bin the app. This is going to become sure app is binder slash app. Same for server, and all is going to be app and server. Okay. Make clean. Okay. Make app. Okay. mv app.c src app.c server.c src. Okay, I got shocked for a second there, because it was the root. I was like, why is everything different? Yeah. Okay. Make server. Great. Make app. Get the error. I need to figure out what this is like. Cannot find ALC, so it seems like it's a libc thing. I wonder if what I need to do is just to re-enable this thing, like if I didn't do it properly, or if some variables changed in between. No, there's something going on there. Sysroot libexec arm real holdings GNU ABI real LD. So it's the linker that says you can't find -lc. What I found odd is that I'm not seeing -lc anywhere here. But then it might be in it's not in C flags because I print them, so I see them. It could be LD flags. No, I'm not even seeing. Cannot find LC. It was building before. The -o is correct. The command is -o bin app from src app. And this is just literally 78 lines of code. Let's try that. Now, Googling these type of stuff is difficult because the minus is going to exclude it from the search. Oh, this is a bit slow. Cannot find the server is great for a second. You can try and see. Maybe so. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't have a libc in there. The makefile adds a -static flag by office machines. We don't have static libc, okay? Hence the error cannot find LC. Remove the flag static, it works for me. If I don't put static, it's going to try to link at runtime, and then I'm going to have the issue of running it here. Oh, okay, I don't need to. No, I really don't know what's going on. I think what's happening is I used to do compile into a .o file I then link it in two separate steps. And I wonder if that worked because, yeah, okay, I think the issue is that if I use dash static on the compile only, then it worked. But dash static on the full thing, it may have been trying to statically link it as well, in which case it didn't work. When I removed the middle step and I said go straight from the C file to the binary, it then tries to statically link on top of statically compiling, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, this seems to work now. Connection refused. I still need to figure out, like, having this there is not ideal, and having to enable the stuff, but I think I'm happy with where it's at right now. So connection refused, great. Now, if I do bin server, permission denied, sure. Okay, connect, and then this should just be fine. Yeah, okay, so we're back in business, if you will. Doink, 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 and then I can just say, oh, by the way, bin dir is this, and you should do this. And there's also something I realized is, like, I'm not sending the tilt stuff. There's a few more events that I'm not sending. The logs need to absolutely be cleaned up. But we are running. So first, I'm gonna get the logs out. In both app and yeah, so I don't need this. This is gonna make the file even smaller. Okay, happy with that. And the server, same. I was printing the same thing. I'm still doing a bunch of printf here. Why was I? Size of input event. I was printing all the characters, like literally all the bytes, which I don't need. Vendor ID. I may want to do something where it's like I set up the input and the HID on connection, so that I don't always have one running. I don't know if it changes much, because I mean, in reality, if it's not connected, even if I have a fake device, if that device doesn't send an event, it's kind of the same thing. Well, I still have a print here. Okay. While one, okay, while one is fine. When do I stop? I might want to do a signal FD handler at some point, but I think for now this is fine. So make all, make upload. Okay. So let's run the server. Of course, I need to remember to do this, and then we're going to run the app. It's going to connect. We can move stuff around like this, pretty smooth. And then I'm going to stop this one, which is not going to receive anything. I'm going to start it again, and it's working. So it looks like disconnect, reconnect works fine. What I would like to try is to do this and do, I don't have telnet. What if I do a curl it stops working. So it looks like it's basically replacing the previous connection with the new one. So that's the first thing I'm going to do here. Keep this one here, why not? I'm gonna look at this, handle connection there. So I'm gonna have a global kind of thing that says bool has client equals false, std bool. No, you don't even include std bool h. Okay. Handle connection is going to be the accept thing. So what I'm going to do is I can either accept and close immediately, or oh, what else could I do? I mean, not accepting would work, technically. Let's try. If has client return has client equals true. Little flip flop. Return 0. Okay. That's mostly the server that I need to do there. Server, app, curl. Still kind of lets it come through. So yeah, so I may want to accept to just reject the thing immediately, because this is still working now, but this is hanging, so I may just do this. I'm going to do here. So you only have a client to accept, okay, and then if you don't have if you already have a client, we're going to do a close client FD. We could even go as far as just sending a message saying wrong, but we don't do that. And then we're going to return 0. Okay. Just need to do the server. When this disconnects, it should also stop. It's not right now, so we should look at that. Already in use, yeah. So that's the other problem that I have, is that if my client is still connected and I kill my server, I've got this issue of the port being in use for a little bit. And we tried before to do like special killing thing for the port, and it looks like the kernel just like keeps it around for a little bit. So now I just need to wait for a bit. While I wait, I'm actually going to update this one. I know this is not the right thing, but 10.11.99.1. So I'm only going to accept connections from the network that the tablet exposes, as like a fun little thing. Although if I do that, then it also just going to completely prevent anyone to just connect to it. I forgot how to do, I'm going to use my AI. Why not? Let me just refresh. I've got a bigger history of things there. Okay, maybe there's different clients. How to get, what's the format that I need? I need a in ADDRT, in ADDRT from a IPv4 string dot separated. There's one thing that I want to do with these type of AI stuff. Inet PTON, that's the one. Well, actually, that's not the one that I saw. There was one that was simpler. That one is correct, but that's not the one that I saw. There's something I want to do, like I want to try to see if, obviously keeping to a minimum my usage of this, because I still like Googling, but I found that like Googling thing is just getting pretty shit now. It's really difficult to find information. And I wonder if like the times where I actually use this local AI, if I could actually generate a small article that literally has the answer, but not in like this super long AI thing, just saying this is the answer, and then just have it published somewhere online. So like every time there's something that I can't find online and I get the answer from the AI, then I fill it back into the internet. The problem with that is like I don't think that the information is not there. It's more like it's terribly indexed. But yeah, I'm actually not super happy with this answer. I don't think that's the correct one, because I found another function where you can just literally say, here's the string. So string to in ADDRT. There's another one that was init ADDR. That's the one. So yeah, AI once again. Yeah, and what that does is convert internet host address from numbers and dot notation in CP in CP into binary data network by order. Right, now the port should be available. Cannot assign requested address. Ah, interesting. I think I might need to do 2. Yeah, so it's actually my... Oh yeah, because the IP it's my IP address of that thing. So now, in theory, if I try to do this, could not connect to server. That's great. That's what I wanted. Now I can have this running. I can move stuff around. Great. Now obviously I can't test my thing now unless I go on the tablet 10, 11, 99, 1 and I curl 10, 11, 99, 2. Empty reply from server. Okay, at least this is a more graceful thing. All right, let's get rid of this one. So that's one thing. I feel like I do need to keep track of what I said I wanted to do. It's going to be quite difficult otherwise. Retry connect on client if failed. Signal FD on server to gracefully shut down connections and device and U input and U HID. Let's try that. And then I don't remember what I said. So I said systemd service on both, and then inactivity timer on client. I'm actually going to start inactivity timer is a little bit difficult to. No, I'm going to start that one. That's the more interesting one. No, I'm going to start with the signal FD because I'm going to make the mistake again of like stopping the server, and then I'm going to have like to wait until the port's available again and whatever. So I was just about to do it. I remember how to do it. I just don't remember there's a struct that you have to create, and you have to do a mem or like an init thing somewhere. And you also have to say like don't make it blocking. Yeah, so sig empty set. You have to do a sig set mask. I can just keep it there as a reference. Okay, so this can go. So that's my server. My server e-polls into something. Okay, but what I also want here is going to be I'm going to put it right here. Int signal FD. There's probably a few more things there, but that should be a good start. And before I do any server stuff, I'm going to need a sig set t mask. Okay, and then a struct signal FD sig info FD signal info. Incomplete because when you use the word struct, this is a very good question. I've not done it. I'm not. So I know you said for later, but it's very relevant to literally something I was talking about today. Also, Quen 2.5. I can't run the 32B, so I won't be able to test it. But I haven't used Olama, so I don't know. Model file, I don't know what it is, but I imagine it's the same thing as narrowing down the vocabulary of what comes out. So I haven't tried it before. But llama.cpp, which I highly recommend, has if I don't remember the name, that's going to be difficult to find. Grammars, it's literally here. You see, I even have it open. I'm not going to switch to tab because it's going to go to my other workspace. But so obviously I can't help with all llama, but BNF, right? BNF is a very old way of doing formal grammar, and actually with BNF you can define, if you wanted to make a new language and you didn't want to do the lexer or the tokenizer, you could actually create a BNF syntax, and there are tools out there that will generate a C lexer for you. But yeah, this is a way of, so for example here, you could say, this is the syntax that I'm expecting. And you can use obviously characters and everything, or you can also use tokens if you want to use tokens instead of something else. So like, for example, if you wanted to do something super simple, saying like, for this, I literally just want yes or no. You could make a grammar that literally says the root is the token yes or the token no, and you give that. You can actually, I think you can give it on a per request basis. And when you do that, it would literally go and do one forward pass. I think what it does is it keeps the state of the tokenizer using your grammar alongside the forward passes of the model. It does one forward pass. Then you've got like this huge list of the tokens, which are the entire vocabulary, and it basically says, I'm going to get the one with the highest likeliness, with the temperature and the top K and everything, but it just eliminates the one that are not eligible to be in your grammar. And then it moves your grammar to like the next thing, and then does another forward pass. And that means that like there is literally no possibility of the model generating something that is not matching this. And I think that GBNF, which I don't remember what the G is on top of that, an extension with a few regex-like features, so it's just that. But this one actually has a really cool feature which supports, you can give it a subset of JSON schemas and it automatically translates it to GBNF, which means you can actually just send a JSON schema and it will output only that JSON schema. One thing that I don't know if it does it, but let's say you give a JSON schema. Let me get a doc there. For this stream, I'm happy to just go on side quests and just, because obviously I'm doing something, but I don't mind. One thing that I don't know if it does it, and I could look at the source code later. Let's say you say there's a JSON schema that says it's an object, right? I'm not going to do the schema, but let's say what you could generate is this. And then this could be an object, and then maybe this is like this, and this could be an array with numbers. And this is kind of like loosely what you can generate. I don't know if it does a forward pass and then select the open curly braces, or if it's clever enough to know that the only possible token is like an open curly brace or curly bracket, and it just skips the forward pass and it goes to the next token, and the next one can only be a quote. So maybe it skips that one again, and then foo is the one that maybe is also the only one possible because your object said it has to have that in it. Although if you have more than one property, then the model can start picking which of the properties is gonna start to generate first. But once it generated the foo, then these two are like, there's no other option that you generate those two, so maybe you skip two more forward passes. I don't know if it does that. But like for some generation, especially because when you think about it, JSON is kind of made to be human readable. It's not like gRPC, which is like super compressed and everything. But in being human readable, it made its way through the training data set of LLMs, which means that LLMs are much better at generating JSON than they will ever be generating gRPC. Well, you could actually make a whole training data set and try to make it generate gRPC. But if you wanted to have an LLM not interact with a human, and you were like, okay, it's going to be an LLM that just outputs gRPC to work with other systems, then you would have to train it to just generate the gRPC. But you would have such an efficiency because every forward pass would generate a token that you have an uncertainty about. You don't know what's the next one. With JSON, the extra quotes, the extra comma, the extra open brackets, the extra space for the formatting, all of these, in a lot of cases, you know they're going to be there. You don't need to do a forward pass for that. So you're wasting a lot of token if whatever you use to run your models does not have something that does that. And for it to know that this is what you want to generate, you need to give it a grammar as an input. So I would be interested to see if Llama CPP, which has this GBNF support, if it's able to, like, looking at the state of GBNF, realizes that the next token in the sequence can only be a given token, generates it and add it to the model inputs rather than doing a forward pass and selecting the next one. Because then you can, it would be cool to, like, have logs and then just have a thing that says this is how many tokens you saved by using this. Let me fix my chair. There's something wrong with it. And by chair, I mean the piece of wood that the chair is sitting on so that I'm not too low. Because this is not an optimized setup for what I'm doing. This is not like a desk to work. It's actually a workbench to do work stuff. So it's made to be standing and gluing and whatever. So obviously that chair, which on top of that has the thing that raises, is just broken, so it keeps on falling down. For me to be at a comfortable height, I just added a pile of wood underneath. And because it's a chair on wheels, it just keeps on wobbling. Anyways. But I also noticed that you have stuff like temperature, number of tokens and stuff like that. On a per request basis, you can also do change the sampling parameters, top k, top p, min p, all of these things, the penalties, like this is how you want to do the sampling, and then the penalty system as well, which I think the penalty one is very interesting because if you know what you need to generate, for example, if you're doing, if you want to do data extraction, you probably want to have a low penalty for repeating tokens. But if you want to like generate a poem or something that is like new, quite different from your original prompt, then you want a higher penalty, saying like if it's a token that's also is in the input or like the user thing, you want a higher penalty so that one doesn't get picked up. Then what other option there is there? Exporting and importing, MCP. We're gonna play with MCP at some point. We're gonna make like real physical devices, lights or displays or whatever, put it in the room, and then have a I'm thinking of making a little AI agent that maybe every like 15 minutes just wakes up and just think of something to do, and then in the physical world something would happen, which I think is quite interesting to look at. I don't even have a system message here. Yeah, there's tons of options. I'm really satisfied with the way it works, and also like the simplicity of deploying stuff. Let's do a little side quest there again. We're still coding. It's not like I'm doing some politics. Is it? No, it's 209. Oh, of course. If I go to right, there you go. So this is just a lot of lines to basically say enable all the GPUs, mount a volume with all your models, forward the ports, literally grab the server with like the execution library that you want to use in this case, and then just say use this model, host, port. So this is because that specific model if I put all of the layers on the GPU, my context window becomes really small because what Llama CPP does is it calculates, it loads the model and then it calculates and goes, okay, that model is supposed to have 200k tokens for the context, and then it calculates how much KV cache it would need for that amount, and then it looks at however is much on the GPU and it says, okay, I don't have enough for the GPU, but I could fit this many tokens. So then it automatically adjusts your context window based on what can run. I used VLLM before, and VLLM just says, nope, crashes and stops. But yeah, so the number of layers in this quantized to 4-bit model is 35. So by me saying 20, it's going to put 20 layers on the GPU and put some of it on the CPU. So that obviously kind of kills the performance, like some stuff is running quite a bit slower. But that allows me to fit a model and a bigger context length that I would not be able to do otherwise. So there's like this ability to do trade-off and stuff like that. The one thing I'm not sure about is like how to do multiple models. Like I don't know if you need like another config file or if it's all through the stuff. But yeah. Hello. Well, we have 2 people in chat now. Crazy. But yeah, so that was the little thing, and then this at the top is just actually a pretty good project that I quite like. It's literally just like a self-hosted little RMI services running, which I think is pretty cool. Let me check what the port is. The port is 8080. So if I go to 8080 here, I just get the like a little health dashboard, and you can set up notifications as well, so you can get pinged when the stuff goes offline and stuff like that. I actually set that one up when I was using VLLM because VLLM just would sometimes just crash. With this one, it's just so stable. Very happy with it. I'm actually wondering if I could have a little browse because I want to see the grammar. See, again, like this is fairly like self-contained, fits pretty well. Is there such a thing as grammar? It's here, grammar.cpp. Now we've got bigger files. So there's less files, but the files are, well, bigger. They're not about 1,000 lines, which is literally a hello triangle in Vulkan. Decode UTF-8. Can I find BNF? And grammar is going to be too much. The max repetition is interesting. Parse name, parse int, parse char. So it looks like it's legitimately has its own parser for the BNF format. The goal right now is like we're a bit distracted right now. I am tidying up some stuff that I've done before, just to illustrate quickly. I don't know if it's running. I'm not going to be running right now, but I've got the tablet here on this screen, and when I just do this, it's not running right now, but it's it actually becomes a drawing tablet for the laptop, and I'm just tidying it up, making a system disservice so that it can run at all time. So like as soon as I plug it in, it just works instead of me having to like SSH into it, run a program, and do stuff like that. But there was a question around some model and stuff like that, like, and it was very relevant to what I just looked at, and I got really curious. So right now, well, the subject of, the answer is still correct, but right now, I want to look at this. So llama.cpp is for hosting models, but they have the ability to just provide a Bacchus NOR formatted grammar, and it actually restricts the generation of the model to respect this grammar. So you can restrict it to like do some JSON, some coding languages, or anything you can come up with. And I was actually wondering if when it figures out that a given state in that notation can only output one type of token, if it skips the forward pass of the model to save on the execution, or if it just still does the normal thing. It was just an idea, and I just wanted to see, have a little peruse at the code base to see if I could see what's going on there. So, but I think this is this may be just the parser. Yeah, that looks like something you parse. So parse a rule, parse the entire thing, end of sequence. But this is kind of like advanced stack. Reject candidates, interesting. Detect left recursion, accept, match character, advanced stack. I think this is kind of in that area. But like rejecting candidates feels like you've got all these candidates, which is the output from the model, and you reject the one that don't work. Like it feels like it's that way, and it advances the stack to say like you're now in that state. I don't know if that's that or not. But anyways, maybe make it a subject of another time. All right, so back to the subject. What we're doing right now is we're adding a signal FD file descriptor, signal file descriptor to the ePOL of the server, so that if I interrupt or kill the server, it gracefully closes the open connections, so that there's not this weird thing where like the kernel has the port bound for a little bit, and it actually just like stops the program on the other side. And right now it's obviously saying you can't do this, and if I look at this, I should see sys signal FD is probably what I need there. I have one here, so I might as well just do this. Signal FD. Yep, so that seems to have worked. Because what I was going to say is like struct kind of does an inline definition, but because it doesn't have the what's inside, the error is a bit misleading, like the previous error. So let's see. Once you do that, you want to do this thing that I really didn't understand, because it's not really something that I see in other sig empty set in other things. Oh, you need signal as well. Interesting. Sig set add mask, and yeah, so I want sig interrupt, sig add set, interrupt and quit, right? And then from there, yeah, this is where I need to say libc error, my little macro. I'm gonna say sig proc mask. Sig proc mask is basically gonna ignore the signal and let me handle it, with the risk that if I don't handle it properly, my thing is like proper stuck, and then to kill it I have to send the I think this is where sending the kill one is always kind of like taken in. Yeah, so that should be it. Undefined libc error, yeah, that looks correct. Oh, because I probably need something like sig proc mask, right? Now, okay, sure, why not? But what I do want to do is this, and I'm gonna copy this, put it right here, and instead of server FD is going to be signal FD, which I realize now I didn't even create. So you create one here, signal FD equals signal FD -1 and mask 0. Now I'm interested, why would you pass -1? What's -1? Is this like a previous file descriptor maybe? If the FD argument is -1, then the call creates a new file descriptor and a signal. The mask argument, I wonder if it's just to update the mask. Yeah, normally it should be blocked using sigproc mask to prevent the signals to be handled according to the default disposition. Okay, it is not possible to receive sig kill or sig stop signal. Sure, that makes sense. If FD is -1, the call creates a new one. If it's not -1, then it must be specified valid existing CFD, and mask is used to replace the signal and set a serial with that file descriptor. So it's just updating it. I'm fine with that. Okay, so now I've got that, and epoll in that add not server FD but signal FD. Okay, and then now I may want to do something like this instead. Switch q at i.data.fd, and then we're going to have a nice case break, and then default. I think I still need that one. Okay. Am I? No. Oh, you can't actually do. Okay, never mind. I'm really tempted to do an X macro for this. No, I'm just gonna do something simple. Signal FD. Now the thing is, when you do this, you want to do a handle signal. I don't need the actual thing. I'm going to put handle signal right here. But actually, this should probably return an int. Yeah. And I'm going to return 1. Because I don't know int. The two ones I'm listening to are int and quit. So I need to see what they actually do. But I think what I'm going to do is if it's not 0, then I just break. And by breaking, I break out of the while. But no, I'm going to break out of this one, which is not that great. So here, I think that a go-to is going to be in order. There you go. Close the server file descriptor, and then the rest. Now the thing is, because I'm only doing one connection at a time, I do want to actually, with a server FD, I want to keep it as a global thing. I'm going to do that, and then here has client, and then client FD is set there, so I'm going to do this. The problem is if I do this, I'm overriding the client FD before accepting it. So what I'm going to do is need to do new client FD is this, and if you don't have a client already, client FD becomes new client FD, and that way you can do the stuff. You add to the epoll, and then I don't even need to remove them, because when you close a file descriptor, it automatically does it. But also client read, if it's 0, close. So because receiving 0 on read means that it disconnected, so this basically means this. So what I need to do is has client equals false. Need to remember that. That's fine, and then that should be pretty good, which lets me do this. I'm going to first stop the client, and then that should be it. Now, do I have a problem with my... Yes. I have a 4. Is this the problem? Yes. So I've got a problem with my... I still got a switch here for some reason. That's my problem. There you go. Right. So this is the thing. So if I receive a signal and handle signal doesn't return 0, then you go there. Because my idea is like maybe you could actually... I think you can send custom signals. So maybe you could just do something. It's like I'm going to send a signal like a reboot signal. Last time I saw it was in a project called Enadin, which I use. Did I close the... Yeah. Well, did I? Yes, because the closing that I did was on the not on the handle client read, and FD is actually passed through, and the FD that is passed through is here. And I think I need to update all this anyways. So you're right. I do need to take care of this. I used to say if it's server, do this. If it's signal, do this. Otherwise, do this. In reality, here, I should also check that it's the client. The problem that I have is that if I receive a signal or if I receive some information from EPOL on a file descriptor that I'm not supposed to handle, I probably need to do a hard crash. But yeah, I'm definitely going to look at that. But looking at this, this is a project where you can run that on one of your server at home. And then there's a configuration and it monitors your public IP. And when it changes, it communicates with a bunch of different DNS providers and updates your DNS. So that's why I have like a domain name that point to my servers. Nothing's open, so no one's going to really see anything except my VPN. That's how I tunneled my services back at home. So yesterday I was in the office, but I still did most of my work on the machine with the GPU for some of the AI stuff, right? So I didn't have to worry about that. And I saw basically it has this thing where like it can restart by using a signal. I think that's the one, right? You see there's a restart, but I think there was a reload. Might have to look at the source code for this. So I don't even do that because I've got my own DNS server running at home. I'm gonna hide the length of the password. It wouldn't show it anyways, but I'm hide the length. I've got my own DNS server running, so I don't even like my phone and everything. I all get the stuff. So I got my zones here, and I've got a LAN zone, and I've got like my different services and stuff like that. They're all like in there. Like the idea is like if the internet fails, like the outside internet, I still have a bit of stuff I can play with at home. Like I've got some media, some little services, some stuff like that. There's tons of stuff. Like every time I do this, I'm like, do I need to load a website for this? But this should be this you could have like a local copy, right, as a website, or even better than that, I could learn how to do it from the command line. But yeah, so looking at the source code of this, I wanted to look at this, and I think it's in the main. There's something file to store process PID for signal for signaling, right? So you find where the PID of the thing is, and you can signal it. OS install signal and handler free context. There's a restart here, right? That's the one, RC restart, and the main loop is probably using EPOL as well. I'm only seeing one here, so the main loop might be in a different. Are you going to be called main loop, or just DDNS here? Yeah. Invalid pointer, startup delay, init context, read cache file, once enforce, and it does a while one, and then wait for command, So I don't know if this is using an ePOL or not. And then it receives command stop, restart, forced update, and then check now. So like it still runs, but it can receive those. And the way it receives them, I imagine this is where we're gonna find it. Oh, it's asleep. It doesn't even use a. It doesn't use a ePOL. This one, just sleep for a given amount of time. But like, how do you then receive a signal? Like when, if it just waits and sleeps there, how does it handle receiving a signal? Huh. Shell transaction. Okay. Server transaction. Yeah, I don't know. Because that's the loop here. Well, the thing is, unless there's a separate thread, when you reach this, and I know that check period is going to be in order of minutes, this is literally going to stop your thing in there. I actually don't know where. There's only one. Unless it only goes into that loop if, yeah. What I found odd is that how does it handle the signal if here it's in a while one and this is a sleep, because you don't wake from a sleep until the sleep finishes. So I feel like this main loop is just the normal main loop, but there's probably a thing that's earlier here that can receive signals. I might be confused something else, but I remember seeing some signal stuff. See, like CTX CMD. Yeah. Yeah, the signal header, you put it like right at the beginning for sure, because that way you can catch it ASAP. Otherwise, if you start some stuff, you can miss a signal. Well, usually at the speed at which these things run, you don't miss it. Yeah, I might be wrong. Maybe there's no signal handler and like it does IPC using something else. But wait for CMD, which once again GitHub failed and doesn't want to scroll the right place. Wait for CMD. Yeah, the only thing it does there is sleep, and that check period is going to be big boy. Anyways, let's get back to where we were. Yes, so here I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to do client FD. If it's the client, you do want to do the client stuff, and I'm going to remove this because I don't need. Here I'm going to say exit one. Well, actually, I'm not going to exit one. I just want to say go to end, and here I'm going to do for now printf unknown FD update received. Now, realistically, it should not be possible because when I do ePOL CTL and I add an FD, I shouldn't be able to receive an update on any other FD. And the only FDs that I add is server, signal, and client. I do want to reorder these because I want a bit of hierarchy where it's like I expect the server to do something, the client to do something, and then signal is just something else. Now client read, and this is where you were talking about it, like renaming it. I'm now going to use the global one, and it's going to be client FD. I don't need to call it new client FD, because new is just this transitive, like it's just if I receive a connection, like an incoming connection, I need to accept it before I can close it to have this graceful thing. So to be able to do that, I need to like temporarily store it there, So it's only going to exist in between here and here, and after that everything's fine. So this I think this may be what you were. This may have been what you were talking about. That would have been a pretty mistake. So that would have killed the existing client if a new one comes in, which is not what I want. So you're right. I definitely looked at that name. I want to kill the new client, not the old one. All right. So I've got this signal handler. Now I want to look into Linux signals. Yeah, that's what you meant by like the name. I thought you meant in like in the read, but no, it's not. The Northern Illinois. So SIG into the singularity when you press Control C. Great, that's what I want. And what about SIG stop? Tells Linux to pause a process to be resumed later. And SIG count tells Linux to resume the process paused earlier. Interesting. So when does, let's ask, when would a Linux process receive SIG stop? Cat src/os.c SIG action. It probably doesn't use signals then, or maybe I'm confused. So what's that? From debugging tools, okay. Send by another process, sure. Parent process requested stop, fork wait PID. Other signals, okay. Ah, signal handler is in OS. Let's have a look. I do feel like maybe they have a thread then, because one of them is definitely sleeping while this one is receiving some stuff. Yeah, unique signal handler. So when does this get used? Here. So that's the definition, and this is when you so OS install signal handler. Whoa. Whoa. I'm a bit confused there. So you can have a SIG action that has a handler. So it's not the way I do it, because I use an epoll, but like, it looks like you may be able to just say, here's a function to call. And you just do like SIG add set, which is the same, like it's just a mask thing. And then you say it's installed. But SA, I'm not seeing SA being used anywhere else, because it's a local thing. Oh, but SIG action. Ah, so SIG action, you give it the one that you want, and then you say, this is what needs to happen with null. Okay. So I wonder if if you do that, then it could actually interrupt a sleep. Is this how it works? Like, if you're asking the kernel to sleep, but a signal is received, is it going to stop your sleep? In which case, you need to be very careful how much time I spend, because if you assume that like you want a specific amount of time, then you could be in trouble. I don't know where there's a mask then. I guess because it empties it once. So this is emptied, okay. Then it sets it to this. Oh, it adds all of these signals, and then for each of the individual signals, it says this. Okay. Great. It's very interesting. So this is not how I've learned it, but then no one ever taught me anything. I just looked up some stuff. examine a change, a signal action. Allows the calling process to examine and or specify the action to be associated with a specific signal. The argument sig specifies the signal. Acceptable values are defined in signal.h. The structure sig action used to describe the action to be taken is defined in signal h. A handler, a mask, flags, and a signal catching function versus a signal catching function, or one of the sig in. Oh, okay. The storage occupied by S handler and SSC actions may overlap, which makes sense, because you probably would want to use one of them. You shall not use both simultaneously. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just wondering, how does it work? How does it work? When a signal is called by a signal catching function installed by sig action, a new signal mask is calculated and installed for the duration of the signal catching function. This mask is formed by taking the union of the current signal mask and the value of the SA mask for the signal being delivered. Makes sense. And unless so, this is the signal it's supposed to receive. Once an action is installed for a specific signal, it shall remain installed until another action explicitly requested by another call to sig action until the SA reset hand flag causes resetting of the handler. Okay, great, but I want to see when it's triggered. Errors. Should not be using the same process to control the same signal. Okay. Behavior async signal safe function. Very interesting. Regards to evacuation, in order to prevent errors arising from interrupting non-async signal safe function calls, applications should protect calls to this function either by blocking the appropriate signals or through the use of some programmatic semaphore. Sure. I want to see like if there is a well, this is a whole thing. Here's the thing that I'm not sure about the program that we're looking at. The program sets up the sig action, which is going to say when this happens you call this function, but it also is very likely sleeping for like 5-10 minutes, because the intervals to check your IP, they're usually pretty wide. It's not very often that it's done. So if you receive a signal, you're very likely to be in the middle of sleeping. At what point, then maybe just, the kernel goes, oh, this is your new, function, like your new program counter. This is where your current thing is, and it basically calls your action. Your action is executed, but once that is finished, does it go back to sleeping, or does it explicitly cancel? Like, is there interaction between sleep or not? Because otherwise, you could be sending a signal. It just especially in this program, the only thing it does, as far as I've seen, is it sets the context. It sets a value in the context here, right? And that's it. It's just saving it. And then when in the main loop, it seems to expect sleep to be finished, like to finish immediately when the signal is received. Okay. Interaction between sig action and sleep. Whenever I include the 5-minute sleep, it appears sig stop isn't called. However, when I comment the sleep, so what is this guy doing? Sig stop? Well, you don't have the whole call. Sleep should not prevent the signal from being called and the signal from being executed. Yes. Sleep causes the calling thread to sleep until either the number of relative seconds specified or until a signal arrives, which is not ignored. So it's actually baked into sleep. And I imagine that the sig action will take priority over exiting the sleep. So it would always go, deeper issues when signals are going to use sig action. Okay. This is a very interesting way of doing it. Obviously, it works better with the FD in my case because I already have an ePOL set up, so I can just say handle it that way. If I was to um, use sig action, I don't think that ePOL would be notified. I think it would just. Actually, I don't know. Let's Google it. Interaction between sig action and ePOL. Yeah, signal is going to be definitely a kernel thing. Yeah, that's fine. That's not exactly what I am. What if I say ePOL sig action? Use sig action to break infinite loop in C++ without global variables. Okay, so you just fork there. All right. Definitely something that I'm going to keep in terms of like, I can do, if there's a program where I just use sleep instead, just as I said that, the tablet goes to sleep. That's funny. I'm going to take a quick break. I didn't bring any water and I'm a bit thirsty, so I'm going to take like 5-10 minutes and I'll be back, and then we'll just try to do a little bit more of that. Yo. I think the music literally finished as I come back. I just need to wait for my phone to reconnect to this Wi-Fi. It did, look at that. Let's go back to this. Phone is back. This is back. Music starting again. Alright, so where were we? Here. Right, we've been writing code for a while and haven't really done anything. Printf shutting down. Let's try that. Make server sudo bin server. Cannot assign requested address. That's odd because that I didn't change anything there. Oh, that's an interesting one because the thing went to sleep. So when it goes to sleep, I can't bind, and then when it's there, I can. So I should either set it back to 0000, or have something that I don't know if I can potentially set up a something that reacts to a udev event in my file system, and when I get a udev, I could check what it's for. If it's like a new, that could be a bit complicated, but I could have the thing just running, and then when it's plugged in, it then just starts the server automatically. Okay, but now if I do Control C, I get shutting down without the line return, and it actually closes the file, the thing. So now let's see. Run it, then I'm gonna connect to it, then this still works. Can move the mouse, and then I stop this one. It didn't I mean, this one maybe doesn't handle the close properly, and then now the address is already in use. So maybe it's the app. Maybe the app doesn't handle like when it receives 0, it returns, but it's not closing. I should do like the signal FD on this one as well. Make app, make upload, and I'll write connection refused. I'm gonna have to wait until the kernel decides that this is freed again. That might be a bit tricky to play with. While we wait, write a systemd unit file that for my custom server that runs as root. I need to run it as root, unfortunately, because root, you need root for like creating those devices. In the background on start automatically. While we wait, keep clicking on this. Okay, so now it's working. Start the app. This moves. Great. Stop this. Damn. So what am I doing wrong? Because this is definitely closing my client FD. Then the server FD. I should probably do the ePOL FD as well at some point. Right. And then I just stop the dev destroy. I should probably do the there's probably an HID as well, destroy, that I need to look into. But yeah, it does say shutting down, so that I know that like I'm exiting that loop, and yet this is still running. I did make upload. Did I do make app? I did make app, so the app is updated and upload. I should stop this. connect. Oh no, I'm using equal, right? So equal wait, read event. Because what this my thinking there, what this should do is when the connection closes, the system should trigger the equal thing, and then this is going to read, and when I do read, I'm going to get 0, and when I get 0, I'm going to close. I guess you know what? It may actually work where it actually does close, but like nothing stops my program. Like when I do this, I should just say if this, then I should say go to end, with end being here. And obviously handle events now needs to be int, and then here I'm going to say return 1, and here I'm going to say return 0. Because I wonder if what's happening is that it does kind of close the connection, but the app just doesn't end because it still is looking at the thing. Actually, so closing these things is where I don't know. I feel like Linux should be designed well enough that if a program creates a bunch of these file descriptors, that when the program ends, it cleans it up the same way the memory is just not leaked when the program ends. Maybe I'm saying the wrong thing, but I'm pretty sure that it's just like you don't need to. You can do a bunch of malloc and not call free if you're about to free right at the end. Like I think that's correct. I don't know if it's the same for these. But yeah, so let me think. I'm closing it here. I don't know if I'm closing it because I haven't even confirmed that I'm coming here. But yeah, I should just be tidy and say equal FD, right? Just close this up. So I'm not gonna remove them, and the reason why is because in the documentation they explicitly say there's like a FAQ, which is like question and answers, right? And it says will closing a file descriptor cause it to be removed from all equal interest list? So I think that the equal CTL del is something you would do if you wanted to stop monitoring that connection but still keeping it open. Yeah, the only caveat is here where it's like if you use dup fcntl with fdup or fork, then you have two things that may actually have access to the file descriptor. Each of them could use an equal on it, and closing it on one side would not do it on the other side. But I'm not in this situation there. So yeah, I shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, maybe the documentation lies, but I suspect it doesn't. Well, let's try some stuff now that we've got a bit more information. I'm going to do make upload again. I didn't change the server, so I can run it. Run the app. Okay. So now, if I stop the server, yeah, I'm not getting it out of the wait. Oh wait. Yeah, of course. Okay, sorry. I only have one thing in my equal FD there. I only have the oh no, I put the other one as well. I don't have this other one. Yeah. I'm checking the I've got two things. I'm watching the /dev/input/event1, and I've got a I'm watching the client FD of my connection. But like in here, I'm saying if you go in there, like if it's FD, which is the input FD to do something, but I'm not actually checking. Like this is not normal, right? This should just be return. This should be void. because the thing is, I did not make a handler for the connection because I'm not expecting the server to send me something, right? But in reality, it can, because it's going to send me a 0 if it stops working. So let me just revert that back. Yeah. So obviously, I was never actually checking anything here. And by the way, this is probably terrible because if you get notified with your epoll and you don't read from that file descriptor, that event stays there and you keep getting in there. So your while loop becomes literally a busy wait. So this is where you kind of need to be careful. FD is client FD, right? So if it is client FD, which I have a static one here, which is great, then I can say handle server event, which I should not expect the server to just send me anything anyways, but I'm still going to do a buffer of like 1024 for sure, why not? And I'm going to do uint32t received is read client fd buffer 1024, and I'm going to say while 1, because I basically want to flush that whole thing. I want to make sure that, like, if by mistake the server sent petabyte, I want to make sure that I just empty the thing. It's not really what's going to happen, but yeah. So here, if received is 0, then this is where I would do return 1. I'm not going to close it here because I'm going to close it at the end anyway, so don't worry. Otherwise, I can say if received is smaller. Well, that's a bit of a problem because I kind of want, if I read 1024, how do I know that there's more left? I don't want to read, and if there's exactly 1024 by mistake, by happenstance, I'm going to say that these are the same value, but I don't want to call read again. I'm not going to do a loop. That's the easiest solution, because if I don't read everything, it'll come back through epoll. So because it'll come back, like if I happen to have exactly 1024 byte on it and I read them, then it'll just stop there. If I have 1025, it'll come back and I'll read 1. Because the problem is you can't say read more and you're gonna get 0, because 0 is specific to say the connection is finished. So handle server event is here, and now I can say if handle server event. It's not super readable, but because I would love if instead there was something that would give me a status that says it's ended, or like check, because just the fact, like, if handle server event, you're basically saying if I'm not handling the server event, go to the end. It doesn't mean too much. All right, let's see. Make upload. Error. Oh, this is still running. Make upload. Server, app, stop the server, still nothing. So this is where I'm starting to be a bit suspicious. Epoll. So I'm going to put something here that's going to tell me every time something happened. It's also possible, that's actually something I need to check. It's also possible that when I move the pointer, yeah, okay, so this is what's going on. I think I did it. When I put the pen close to the tablet, it then ran the code and ended. So I think I may just not... oh, I got confused. I didn't even add the client connection to epoll. So that's legitimately the problem that I have here. Let's put it right here, and then instead of FD, it's going to be client FD, because now I know it exists, and here's going to be client FD. So now I'm watching both, which in theory I should be getting some information from the server when it finishes. Run the server, run the app, stop the server, the app stops, I can run it again, address already used. So how to shut down TCP server properly in C. Close socket, shut down. You don't need to do anything. If you want to allow the connectors, check out SO reuse a DDR. Reuse port feature on but properly because of address. You do have to close your server socket as well as your client socket. The OS will clean up anyway when the program ends. It's good practice to close it when you open. Okay, sure. But even doing that, the OS is not under an obligation to clean everything up right away. You'll need to mark it reusable. So what I find really odd is that if I shut down the client first and then the server, the port is ready to be used right away. But if I do the other way around, it's not the case. So yeah, so let's see. Linux socket port reuse. SO reuse port allows you to bind an average number of sockets to exactly the same source address and port, as long as all prior bound sockets also had SO reuse port set before they were bound. This feels like it basically says that, like, if I do reuse a DDR and I stop and then I start the server again, it's going to be fine because the first time I did it, I declared it, and the second time I declared it as well. Wow, it looks like there's a bunch of different behaviors. Binary remote socket to exactly the same source address and port, as long as all prior bound socket also had SORES port set before they were bound. If the first socket is bound to, but does that mean that you can legit like bind multiple times to the same thing? Okay. This is just really long, which is fine. I just want to know where I put it. Socket.overflow, yeah, that's literally. Is that like a legit address, or is it you saying like this is literally the entire, like a huge? This is like the entire website is about the socket here. Like, I mean, whoever wrote that thing, which let me check. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me check. In 2023. So January 2023, edited in 2023, answered in 2013. Okay, so you can be fairly certain that that was not written by AI, although AI probably used this a lot because, damn, this is chatty. Blah 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 blah. But anyways, that's cool. So I'm just gonna assume. So I'm gonna go back to server. And to solve the problem, there's somewhere I do SO, right? There's a socket here, sock stream, and these are the flags, and I never use those flags. I put the 0, right? These are, oh no, the last one is protocol. If protocol 0, one issues automatically, so it shouldn't be that. Should it be bind? Bind is length, no. Is it listen? There's an N. So where would those flags be? Maybe it's flag in the server address here. Show me like a socket. So set sock opt. Sol socket SO reuse port opt val 1 Says OPT value. Okay. Oh, that's just, oh, yeah. I remember seeing set sock OPT before. So you prepare value. You say I don't know what SOL socket is, but imagine it's like a type of thing. So before binding, we're gonna have a uin32t yes equals 1. Set sock opt of server fd sol socket or something like that. What is it? SOL socket so reuse port and yes size of yes. Right, so I'm basically saying this is the option that I want to have now. So make server, run the server. I think I typed it wrong. Yeah. There's one system, I don't remember which one. Did I type it wrong again? Oh no, it's just running, I guess. There's one system, I don't remember which one, where when you type it wrong, instead of like doing try again, it just goes back to like put your username. And I think it's like some login system. And the number of time where I type my password in the username thing, because I'm so used to like if you get it wrong you can try again. So the number of time my password ended up in this in the history. So I can stop it, it stops this, and it works again. And then if I have nothing bound to it, I can start it a bunch of times. And then here I can connect to it. When I connect, I can move the mouse. If I stop this one, I can reconnect to it, and it continues working. And if I stop this one first, it just stops the other one. Now the thing is, in reality, I kind of don't want to stop this one. I probably more want to have a thing which is like, I have a state saying like whether or not you are connected. And when you disconnect, I would probably set a timer, and then the timer tries again, and I can have an increasing number until like a bigger thing, to like automatically reconnect. So signal FD for the server. I might want to do signal FD for the client. Not really. Systemd servers. Let's see what the AI said about systemd. Unit. You can give it a name. You can say after network. Yeah, sure. Because I'm binding to a port, I guess I do need that. Documentation not needed. Type simple. I'm not even sure that's a real thing. User group. UMask. Restrictive permission. Oh, that's an interesting one. Maybe we can mask to just say you can only do these things. So we've got exec start. I'm not going to do daemon, and then exec stop, gracefully shut down. So I imagine this is just to send kill quit main PID. I don't know if main PID is a real thing. Restart on failure is going to be very interesting with the restart sec. I wonder if like my client, instead of having the logic inside the code of like trying to reconnect, I could let it crash when it can't connect, and the systemd service would just automatically restart it. So yeah, automatically restart. I wonder if I'm gonna ask it here. Is $main PID systemd thing? Special systemd. Okay. Now we're gonna check that. Systemd $main PID. A special member main PID is set available to. Okay, so this is correct. I thought as well you would add the options there, but actually, socket is right here, and that 0 there, I thought they were flags, but just looking at the signature, it's the protocol, and the protocol is then picked automatically. I think protocol may be v4 or v6. I think that might be the case. Sock stream. That middle one, is this what you're saying? Because the middle one is the type, sock stream is going to be TCP, and sock dgram, I think, is going to be UDP. Which I could switch to UDP for being a little bit faster, because I don't really mind dropping events in that instance. But this seems to be fast enough. Let me know if this is what you meant, because I'm not sure what you mean by in the middle. Option 1, option 2. I don't think that's a thing in there. Let me check. Because this is the second thing, right? And it says type, and yeah, I think that's the only values you can have. Specify the socket type, which determines the semantic of communication with the socket. I don't think these are flags. I think we can check actually. Let me see. It's an int, obviously that could mean anything. Can we find it here? You know what I mean? Maybe there's a Rust folder. Such a weird way to put it in there. Lib, sound, tools. I guess lib may be where I would find stuff. Or maybe kernel. I mean, I guess kernel would be time, trace, module power. Oh, there's a net folder actually. These are going to be drivers, aren't they? Big file. Let's see if I can find a sock dgram. It's only one stream. They're not really defined anywhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to be lost in this file, to be honest, in here. But yeah, I would have been interested in. I'm not in comfortable enough to like maybe read some of that Linux source code. So I don't exactly know where everything is. There's some functions here. But yeah, I tried it to see if I can read some of it. But no, not at the moment. So yeah. To do. In activity timer, I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. Systemd service. To be honest, I might finish a little bit early today, so I might just not take on something right now. I'm gonna add. I don't know if I want to add like a little bit of logging, because it's weird when you start it and it doesn't say anything. I'm gonna add a little bit of logging that says it's listening on this port. One that says when the client connects and when the client disconnects, and that's pretty much it to get a bit of log. And then that's it. And maybe I don't know if I want to do systemd service right now, because I feel like there's a whole rabbit hole, because testing the systemd service is going to be a bit tricky. I'm actually going to keep this, and I think the retry connect, I may use the systemd service for that. But what I want to do is just a very simple, a very little thing, which is going to be. I was thinking about making a little log functions with like different levels, but I realized that this is way too overkill for this little thing. I don't think I'll need to like switch between like debug verbals, whatever, at runtime. If I need to like get debug stuff, it's almost faster to add a printf in the source code and recompile, because it's literally one file, than something else. So I think I won't bother with that. What I can do though is right before my first epoll wait, and to be honest, even before, you know what, I wonder if I should do, no, it's fine, because it's going to be blocking, so I can just put it down there. Right before my first stuff, I can say printf listening on port and then I'm gonna go there and say hashtag define. There you go. In the future, I may just have like a command line thing. There you go. So just listening, shutting down, cool. Listening on port, and then it's going to be around accept, right? When I do an accept and you didn't have a client, I can just go there and say client connected, and I think I could technically read the IP. Let's try that. Do a little fun thing there. %s, and so I'm actually wondering if I can do init addr. Can I do the other way around? What is the reverse version of init addr? Wrong. In C. Ooh, processing 0. What's going on? Okay. Yes, that's correct. To reverse the process, you can use init n2a. Oh no, it's doing the same thing. I mean, to be honest, it didn't even tell me about init addr last time, so I don't think it would know about the other way around. Init addr reverse. The function and network convert non-additional character strings to equivalent internet address and network number respectively. So network numbers. Init NTOA performs the reverse operation, converting an internet address to the equivalent dot notation. Oh, but like the NTOA, if I remember well, of seeing it, it wasn't just like in and out. It was you need to give it like a pointer to a structure and do a bunch of stuff, right? Maybe I should apologize to the AI. NTOA, NTOP, okay. Oh, NTOP. Okay. So you can get a string. Yeah, so that's the thing. You need to like give it a. I guess that's. I mean, I guess because I'm it's a string and it could be a variable size. I guess it can't just return it to me. So yeah, so I need to allocate. I can use init addr strlen. Hopefully that exists. I've already got an address, and I can do ntop af init, the thing that I want, the string and the size. Let's try that. Let's do char addr str addr, what's this? Init addr strlen, init addr strlen. I think that this doesn't exist. Oh, it does exist. It's a net init in, and it's 16. Is that really 16 the max you could do? I guess you have 4 times 3, 12 plus 3 dots in between, which is going to be 15 plus 0 for the null terminated string. Correct. And now I should be able to do init ntop, which is af init, which this one is IPv4 I think, and the other one is the other one. And then I want a client addr dot, I think there is an address inside. I should be able to, this is the same thing, so s in addr and s addr, I think that's what I need. S in addr .s addr. So just today, I started using NeoVim for some of the .NET work that I do during the day. It was a bit of a pain because the Roslyn language server protocol made by Microsoft is kind of difficult to get a handle on. I don't know why, it's just difficult. But this is where I realized that I've been using the wrong auto-completion shortcut, where that one, the one I've been using just like finds symbols in the current file and just like suggests them. While the one that I'm using now legitimately looks through the LSP. And it just like changed, it just completely changed it. I was like, oh, now I don't have to guess stuff anymore. We'll see if it actually makes me dumber, because before that I had to like really learn all of these. We'll see. Because now I can do XO, and like this now is like legitimately all the stuff that actually exists. Although I know these like std add volatile, and I mean these could appear from nowhere, but this one is this, right? And then now I should have a addr str. Okay, let's try that. Make server, run the server, listening, connected, and that's the correct. And if I stop and connect again, I get a second one. So now I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna say client, and I'm gonna put the file descriptor here, just because that way I have like a number that tells me which client it is. And then I want to, the problem that I have is that I can't reuse the IP, but that's fine. What I can do is here, before I do the rest, printf client attempted to connect, but I'm gonna say second client attempted to connect, just to say like, oh, you shouldn't try to do this thing a second time. Client connected is here, and then I do want the client read. That's the one. So here I'm going to say client, and I'm not going to put the address. That's fine. I'm just going to say disconnected. Just so that it feels a little bit better. Make server, run this, connect, disconnected, connect, disconnected. It's odd that it's like always the same. Actually, I didn't try if it works across restart. So this works, then I can quit it, and I get nothing obviously, then I run it again, and it still works. What I don't understand is why I'm getting a 0 the first time. I guess it's because I'm printing it before I set the value, which makes sense. It's odd that I'm getting like a constant 8, but it's very likely that it's just kernel recycling stuff, which would make sense. Yeah, so let's do just a little bit of fun logging on the on this side, right? So here, this is just going to be the error. It's going to tell me what the error is and exit. And here, right before I do this, I'm going to say printf connected to server. Right, and then I guess this is where I want to connect. I'm not gonna, because this is hard coded, I don't, it's not like I have a discovery thing. I know which server I'm connected to, so I'm not going to put anything like that. What I would like to do is just print something if the server is the one that interrupts the connection, and I'm going to say server disconnected. And then I'm going to put a printf here, which is shutting down. That way I'm going to get like a nice server disconnected shutting down. Make upload, run the server, run the app, connect it to server, stop, stop. Okay, and then if I stop this one, server disconnected, shutting down, the end. The one thing I don't have, And I'm going to do very quickly because I just want to do it. I'm going to add the signal FD to the client as well because I want to practice it and it should be easy to do. I'm going to do signal FD quite early on, so right here, and then I'm going to have signal FD. I'm going to keep it here, and here signal FD equals signal FD -1 and mask null sig mask t mask sig set. Signal FD as well as signal is what I need. Okay, I still got an error there. Sig set T. Yeah, I remember now. And then there's a sig info thing. Struct sig info, but there's something before sig info, or maybe I'm wrong. Signal info incomplete type. I guess sig info is not a real thing. I'm gonna copy it from what the server does. Signal FD sig info. I could have guessed it. Okay, so this should be fine. Now what I'm missing here is sig set empty mask sig empty set, yeah, and then sig add set, not as add set, with sig int sig did I use sig stop on the other one? Sig quit. Okay, quit. Right, so this should be just fine. Yeah, I don't know what sig term does actually. Sig kill versus sig term, but then I wanted to see sig quit, sig quit, sig term, sig kill. I may just add all of them. No, actually, Control C is sigint. I think that's what we read. Interactive attention signal. And I'm pretty sure that sigint, from what we literally read earlier, obviously Linux, yeah, Control C. Bum. Alright, so I want these two. I want all of this to be which FD input path? Okay, I'm going to say signal FD and signal FD. Okay, and then now I can have something here. Signal FD handle. You know, I'm just going to do a very simple one here. I'm going to say go to end. I'm not going to do like a function that does this, because I mean, when I have more signals that I manage, I might do like a function that says what should you do with these signals. I may even have like custom signals. I think you can send custom signals like some data, and then you can read the data and just like control, have some kind of control on those. But I'm going to do that now. Make upload. Ooh, that's interesting. What does it say? So it looks like my null for it's a 0. Interesting. It's not a null, it's a 0. And null, I think, is just a pointer to 0, which is not the same. Okay. Confused. Great. I keep, every time I move my cursor and I click to focus, I forget. Like I'm so used to all the other operating systems where it's like you have to click on a window to activate it. Well, this one is just you need to hover it. So every time I come here and I click, this message of like Python opens in there. And the other day, like I still got one there. I had like 5 open, and I was like, oh. I wonder if you can do something in Sway. I don't know if it would be too annoying to say that when a window in a different workspace is focused or like has the alarm thing, then you move to that workspace. That might be annoying. But there's a few times where I was like, I click on something and nothing happens, and it's because it just opened something in the browser. Although, in the bar, we can actually get that event from Sway, and actually animate the workspace in the workspace indicator that there's something happening in there, and just say, oh, there's something in there. Yeah, I really like just hover, and this is where your focus is. I think this is really cool. Anyways, make upload is done already. Run the server, app, Control C. I forgot to do the sig proc thing. And also this still, I didn't remake the server probably. So I forgot to do sig proc. Before I do signal FD, I need to do libc air sig proc. I think that's the one, right? I do sig proc mask, block mask null. Sig proc mask, block. Is it block or sig block? Sig block. Sig block. And mask? No. And I need to make sure I remember to add sig proc mask here. This is not written correctly. Okay. Take 2. Shutting down. Disconnected. So I can go crazy with like connect, disconnect, and it's still working. Hover is focused, and I can draw, and I can go to, I can go here, and I can say, wow. And now all of that is useless because I absolutely suck at drawing. So I did all this for nothing, you know? Boop, beep, bop, bop, boop, boop. Beep, bop, bop, boop, 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 boop. Oh look, another spam thing. This one went through. I forgot last time to find out to report those because I'm on my mobile here, and there was no like easy button to just say report this. Oh, this is crazy. I'm going crazy tapping here, and my fan is going up. So this JavaScript paint is probably just, it's probably a software rendered. Don't think it uses actually I don't know what it is. Is there any like GitHub? Look at that. Let's have a look. Let's not be distracted. I said I wanted to finish early. So yeah, it does seem to be, the only thing that I can't do here is scrolling quite easily. Canvas object electron.main. Oh no. Oh no. There's another thing I want to do. I want to copy, I think it's Linux Mint. So Linux Mint has this make web app. I don't think it's Linux Mint or something else. Linux. That's the link that I found. Web App Manager, Linux Mint. And I was looking at the code there, and it's just a Python thing. But there's a few web applications that I would love to have as a standalone app. And just looking at the code here, I think it's uncommon. You can, it's just like a set of flags for Firefox. And the idea is that you can create a separate profile for Firefox and then just run and just open it as like a separate thing, maybe even full screen if you want to. And then that way you can just create a desktop entry, and the only thing it does is just opens a tab in there, and you can do two different modes. You can say attach to the main Firefox process and share the resources, or like literally set, like run its own separate thing. But for this JS Pen thing, we could quite easily, like at least for now, we could just easily just say jspen.app and then open it as like a separate application, and it would have like the window manager, which is take care of all stuff and all that stuff. But yeah. There's another thing I wanted to try actually, because I saw that Inkscape, sure, just open something. Thanks. New document. There's a calligraphy mode, and I don't remember the shortcut to go there. Is there a search? No. Was it like F6? Oh, it is. Oh, it's not exactly that. No, that's just making a shape there. Potato shape. Beep boop bop bop beep boop. Beep. I guess the other thing with this tablet thing is we also need to test like having it running for a while. Because now that I'm saying like my fan goes up, I'm starting to wonder like, is my fan going up because of my process or JS Paint? Because it's also possible that it's just my process that does that, which we can actually check quite easily. Oh yeah, my server. Oh no, my server. Look at my server. Why is my server going crazy when I have nothing running? You know what that is? That is a busy loop, and that is probably means that I'm not reading something from somewhere, and I'm not emptying or flushing one of the file descriptors. So ePol constantly comes back and says, you've got something to read, and if I'm not reading it, I'm just constantly just causing some issues. I'm just going to very briefly have a look, but then I'm going to end stuff because I want to watch the new episode of The Pit, so I'm going to go and do that. So yeah, the thing is, this while loop is only a not busy loop if ePol wait actually waits. If this actually returns and says there is something, but you're not handling it, then that could be an issue. What if one of my clients disconnects, but by mistake I'm not actually closing it, and it doesn't get removed from the ePol because it's not closed, like I miss it? Then technically I could just constantly and because I tried a lot of like start the client, close the client, start the client, close the client, I may have missed something here. So I should have an else here that says go to end and say printf unexpected ePol event from no, there's no point in getting something like this. Let's try if I can, because that's the only thing I can think of. Nothing to be done. Oh, okay, that was the client. Well, it's always good to have it anyways. Oh, I have it here, so that's not the problem. Unless I get a signal constantly. Me blaming js.paint when it's my program that's just using my CPU. Ridiculous. js.paint did nothing wrong. Damn, I'm already at 100. Like, I mean, there's obviously something wrong there. Because I would expect it to go a bit up when I'm receiving stuff, but like not here. Yeah, it's constantly coming in. So what's happening is I've got an event that I'm not reading, like I'm not flushing something. So handle connection. I wonder if like I'm getting a constant handle connection. Well, actually, I can check that, right? Because I can put it here. Is it handle connection? Yes. Is it client read? Yes. What? Oh, never mind. I forgot to rebuild. Let's do make server and this. I don't forget. Okay, so it's not handle connection, or maybe it is because I need to connect first. Okay, so it only happens once, and it's fine, right? But according to htop, I'm already going up in the hundreds there. Okay, so is it that I'm constantly getting read stuff and I'm not reading it all? It's possible. My buffer is too small. Okay. But like now if I stop, you know, I'm not getting more. And I'm not getting anything from okay, there must be something wrong there. Timeout. I'm not supposed to put 0 in timeout? Oh, 0. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is not gonna work. Obviously, timeout is, yeah. If you put 0, it's gonna time out immediately. So yeah, that's obviously, and then I'm sure I did the same thing in the app. Yeah. Okay. So now I can just go and make upload, make server and run, app, and CPU should go to like nothing. It's not even in the list there. But then if I move the thing around, then it should go up a little bit. But actually forwarding the thing is just so small. It's probably, where's the server? Server is like, let me just filter it. Is it F4? Oh, that's gonna be annoying because everything's called server. bin/server. Yeah. I don't know why I have a few when I'm, maybe I have some of them that are just, do I have some of them that are just like not active? Yeah, so that's the one that's active. So if I'm like constantly moving, I'm at like 1.3, 1 point whatever percent. And if I stop, it just goes to literally 0 because it's not getting any event, so nothing's gonna happen. Let me check because it's suspicious that I do have of course. Yeah, I still got some running. I think they may have been stuck. And these are probably quite old. 2257. I guess it's the update rather than anything else. I'm not gonna call it. Can I do this? Killall is on macOS, I think. Oh no, it's on. Okay. So why am I using pkill for those things? I don't want to do kill all with server, because if something else is called, if something else is called server, which is quite likely, I'm gonna have some problems. So I might just do this, and then this. Oh, so it was somewhat linked. It's weird that I have one running. Now I'm worried because what if it's not What if it's not my program? What if there's like another thing that actually has bin server and I just killed something else? Okay, so now it seems to be fine. So let me just, last one, and we're gonna go to filter bin slash server. Oh, this is annoying. Okay, nothing's running because... Oh, actually, I had one running that I killed. Okay. Go to the app, get the app running. I don't know why two are showing up. I wonder if there is a... Because I'm not starting a thread. I don't know why two are showing up. That's... But yeah, now it's doing something. And it's the one that's not sudo. Oh, I guess sudo itself is one of the process, and my actual one is, yeah, so one is sudo and one is a subshell. Okay, okay, that makes sense. So one is sudo, one is subshell, and then one is my own thing. So yeah, it goes a bit up when I use it, but not that much. Let's see if MS Paint goes crazy. Not hearing the fans. So I was just slandering MS Paint for no reason. Not MS Paint, JS Paint. Bim bam 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 bam. Alright, anyways. I keep saying like, oh, I'm not gonna, you know, do more, and I just like do more. But yeah, pretty happy with that. I mean, it's a bit different. It was less discovery. We still discovered a few things, especially with like a seek action. I'm happy to have figured that out. But I'm quite happy with this because it feels like it's a bit more resilient thing that I can legit use. And then next time, tomorrow, maybe we do like I might leave it like that because it works if I need it. But I do want to see about systemd. I'm just worried that I won't be able to set up a systemd unit on the tablet if it doesn't really let you do that, which would be very annoying. But yeah, let's just do that. And then after that, I want to do a something a bit simple-ish, hopefully. WebSocket client for OBS. I know there's probably some that exist out there, but just WebSocket client for OBS. Just a little palette cleanser from other things, and then we'll just see what we'll do after. Anyways, that's it for now. Oop, wrong one. And tomorrow, same time. Yeah, thanks for being here. I mean, it's like going live to stream and talk out loud with no one being there is quite a bit different from when you know that there is someone. My first stream, I said nothing, and it was weird when someone showed up. And I remember a friend saying, if you're streaming, the beginning is really weird because you talk to people that are not there. Because if someone shows up, you don't want it to be like weird, where it's like it's pure silence. But yeah, having someone there is obviously really cool, and interaction is nice as well. Oh, nice. Well, bring people, you know, the more the merrier. But yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.